Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of correlation and regression, we will be considering the price action of the US trading session, the North American trading session, so that we can make the use of these correlational techniques to figure out the profitable trading opportunities. So let us now head to the JForex 4, the newly released trading platform from the Dukascopy Bank SA. This is the chart of the USD JPY, and at the start we are seeing some correction from the higher levels for the USD JPY. So far in the day, the dollar has been dominant. If we take out the exception of the GBP, which spiked after the strong economic numbers in the afternoon, we have seen most of the other major currency crosses trading softer against the US dollar. So that same trend is also visible for the USD JPY. Here for the USD JPY, the momentum has been bullish. We are pretty much likely to see the 135 level in today's session itself. If not in the next few hours, we are likely to see the USD JPY climbing past this 135 level, which has been a crucial price level in today's session. If we look at this price movement, it has been a kind of resistance. It hasn't really been broken yet, but the possibility looks quite strong if we consider this momentum with this formation of higher highs and higher lows in place. So if we look at the timeline of the USD JPY's price rise, the day started close to the 134 level. The Asian trading session low is at 134.18, and after that it climbed sharply, particularly in the European trading session at the start of the European trading session. And then here we have this further correction, and now the momentum is back in place and really not far off from this immediate swing high. So if we have to go for the strength of the dollar, if we have to buy the dollar, the USD JPY is one of the obvious choice. But then we do have to figure out if the dollar trade is best taken with USD JPY, or if we have other major currencies which are more bearish than the JPY against the US dollar. And if that is the case, we can always go for the most bearish currency against the dollar if we expect the dollar strength to remain intact in the US session as well. So let us now look at the correlational aspect and figure out the relative strength and weaknesses of these major currencies. If we look at the Euro USD, it has been going sideways with the bias on the bearish side. So if we look at the larger time frame charting of the Euro USD, it has been correcting in today's trading session. In the European trading session, we saw this spike towards 1.07 mark, but it wasn't sustained. And here we saw this fresh move on the lower side, which took the Euro USD closer to these lower levels, not far off from the prior swing lows. And if we look at the larger picture here, it has been a story of making lower lows and lower highs, and we are not really seeing any change in today's session as well. So the momentum is with the dollar, and we will do well to keep looking for opportunities to go short in the Euro USD as well. Now let's compare its price moves to that of USD JPY to see which is the best instrument to take advantage of the dollar strength. And for the USD JPY, we were seeing that the immediate swing high was formed, and it is trading closer to the day's highest point. But for Euro USD, it is still off from the day's high. It has seen some correction from these lower levels. So we have to put the euro as the less bearish of these two currencies against the US dollar. The JPY is looking much more bearish. And if we look at the price moves after the start of the North American session as well, here we are seeing some upward movement in the USD JPY. So taken together, we have to consider the JPY to be more bearish against the US dollar. So that puts it ahead of the Euro USD for any possible trade to be taken. Now let's consider other major currencies. We have AUD USD, which is also looking bearish against the US dollar. The AUD USD has been making lower lows throughout today's multiple trading sessions, including the Asian and the European trading session, and the things are not really looking much different for the North American trading session as well. So here, if it doesn't really climb above this immediate swing high established around 0.6890, I think we can keep looking for the short selling opportunities in the AUD USD as well. But if we look at these price moves, the range is lower compared to the USD JPY. So that puts USD JPY ahead of the AUD simply because there the volatility is more in comparison to the AUD USD. Now let's consider GBP USD. For GBP USD, the economic release changed the picture and put it on the bullish pedestal. If we consider the other major currencies, they are trading pretty much bearish, but that is not the case with the GBP USD. GBP USD is trading quite strong for today's trading session. So there is a contra trade, and if you feel that the USD strength is not going to be sustained and we are likely to see it flattening and reversing course, then here GBP USD is going to be the best placed currency instrument to take advantage of a situation. So keep looking for buy on dips trade. But if it dips too much below these consolidation levels, then I think it is better to sit on the sidelines. So watch out for the price levels of around 1.208, these immediate swing low levels. Let's consider USD CAD. For USD CAD, the momentum has been bullish. The CAD, after correcting towards these 1.344 levels, has again climbed around 50 pips on the higher side, and it is now sitting pretty much closer to this high point. This spike was caused by the inflation numbers for the Canada, where we saw the CAD weakening quite swiftly, and that is putting CAD as one of the most bearish instrument in today's session. If you have to go for any trade, I think the USD CAD is one such instrument which can be utilized for taking a new buy trade on the higher side. So if we see the USD CAD consolidating closer to this 1.35 level, we can indeed take our chances and expect it to climb further on the higher side. If we have to compare it to the USD JPY, the situation is not much different, and I think given the economic release also supporting the move on the higher side for USD CAD, we can put it ahead of the USD JPY for that matter. So that possibility is quite strong, and we can keep the USD CAD as a preference, first preference for a long trade to be taken ahead of the USD JPY as well. Now, if we have to take a new trade, we can, as I said, we can give first preference for the USD CAD. Let's see how things are shaping up for the other major currencies. For NZD USD, we are seeing this spike fresh move on the lower side. And as I said, it is in line with the expectations of the weakness which we are seeing in the non-USD currencies, the USD has been on the stronger side, and that is also evident in this situation. Let's consider USD CHF. I'm not expecting the things to be much different for the USD CHF. USD CHF has also gone on to make these fresh swing high here at these levels of 0.9276. The day's highest point has been reached. If we look at its larger time frame charting, it has started the day closer to these lower levels, swing low levels, and from there on it has climbed on the higher side quite successfully. So that puts it as one of the preferable currency to trade a long trade in the USD CHF as well. But instead of USD CHF, we have much more favorable formation in USD CAD and also USD JPY. So the preference can be given to these two major currencies ahead of the USD CHF. So this is a matter of now personal choice because there is not much of a difference between these price moves of the USD JPY and the USD CAD. The timeline is also similar, but the price moves of USD CAD are also being backed by the economic data. So on that count, we can give we can use USD CAD as the first choice. So here we saw these developments in today's session where we are seeing dollar as the dominant currency for today's trading session, and if we have to exploit the situation to our advantage, of course we have to keep looking for the opportunities to buy dollar, and in that respect I gave you these presentation using the correlational technique where we saw the USD JPY and USD CAD emerging as the preferable instrument to take the situation into account and go for the long trades as and when we get optimum trade entries. So this immediate swing high should be now next support. So if we don't really see USD CAD correcting much below this 1.349 levels, and if it is able to hold, we can indeed look for the opportunities to go long in the USD CAD as well as in USD JPY. So these two instruments are looking quite strong. Now let's see how things are shaping up for the equity segment. For the equity segment, the volatility has picked up, but here the momentum is on the bearish side. We have these US 30 index, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is now again dipping on the lower side, and we are likely to see fresh swing lows being formed as this new low has been formed below this prior swing low. So the momentum for today's trading session in the equity market is also bearish, and it is better to keep looking for the opportunities to go short in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now let's consider if the Dow is a better choice or if we have the opportunities which are much more favorable in the other equity indices for the United States. For S&P 500, the momentum is also looking equally bearish, if not more so. Now let's look at the timeline of these two. And we have higher volatility for Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's consider the price moves of Nasdaq. For Nasdaq, the momentum is less bearish compared to the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. But if we look at the earlier price moves in the day, it was declining sharply. Here we saw this decline of 1 percentage point. So at the moment it is lagging, but earlier in the day it was one of the lead instrument to decline on the lower side in terms of magnitude. But now that it is lagging in this new timeline, I would suggest that we keep the Dow Jones Industrial Average as the first preference for short sale trade to be taken in today's trading session. If we don't really see the Dow Jones again climbing past these 33,060 levels, and if it consolidates closer to these immediate swing lows of 33,500, we can look for the opportunities to go short and take advantage of this bearish momentum prevailing in the equity segment for the US market. So that's all from my side for today's trading session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, do write to me in the feedback, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. So here the takeaways are pretty much clear. We have the bearish momentum for the equities and the bullish momentum for the US dollar, with this spike being seen in the USD JPY and USD CAD as well. So these are the preferable trades, and I was talking about them. Now here we are seeing this fresh spike again with the US dollar reigning strong, trading strong in today's trading session. So I'm signing off for the day. See you next time around. Till then, goodbye.